least 49 people have died of thirst in a remote part of the Sahara Desert in northern Niger. After the truck carrying them broke down, authorities said the group had been returning from Mali, where they had attended a Muslim festival when they ran out of water, stranded more than 80 kilometers, 50 miles west of Asamaka, a major border crossing point between Niger and Algeria.
Nearly 2 months ago, on April 12, Peru held the first round of its presidential elections. But in the 8 weeks since, confusion, protests and scandal have engulfed the results. Now, on Sunday, Peruvians return to the polls to cast their ballots in the hotly contested runoff.
Iran's football squad, whose participation in the World Cup remains uncertain, have handed their passports to the United States Embassy in Turkey for visas. The head of their football federation has said, Mehdi Taj said on Friday, that Iran were following instructions from FIFA, world football's governing body.
Celtic's interest in appointing Robbie Keane as their new manager has provoked anger among the club's pro-Palestinian fans after his previous role with Israeli side Maccabi Tel Aviv. Keane is the leading contender to take charge of the Scottish champions after reportedly entering talks with the club's principal shareholder, Dermot Desmond.
Israel has continued to launch attacks on southern Lebanon despite the two countries striking a new United States-brokered ceasefire agreement. At least 5 people were killed as Israeli warplanes and drones struck several towns on Friday, Lebanon's state-run national news agency, NNA, reported. The Israeli military also issued new forced displacement orders.
FIFA has cancelled World Cup tickets issued to about 60 fans who mistakenly got them for free because of a website error. The tickets were allocated at no charge, $0 due to a prior payment issue during the checkout process, FIFA said in a statement on Thursday. The MacBook Neo has quickly changed expectations in the budget laptop market, offering a premium macOS design, strong battery life, and Apple Silicon performance at a lower price. Windows laptop makers are now responding with a new wave of thin and light machines aimed at the same $600 to $800 segment. At Computex 2026, Dell, Asus, Acer and MSI showed several MacBook Neo alternatives focused on premium materials, better displays, stronger port selection, and competitive pricing. The new models are expected to arrive in time for the back-to-school buying season.
Suzuki Pakistan has launched an exchange program allowing customers to trade in their existing Suzuki vehicles for the newly introduced Suzuki Fronx. The company announced that customers can visit authorized Suzuki dealerships and exchange their old Suzuki models for the Fronx. Exchange your old Suzuki for the Suzuki Fronx and experience an elevated drive defined by bold styling, modern features and a commanding road presence, Suzuki said in a post on social media.
Ukraine says it has struck 5 ships carrying illegal cargo in the Sea of Azov and in coastal waters of Russian-occupied territories. The Ukrainian Drone Forces commander said the vessels were involved in stealing Ukrainian grain, as well as transferring military cargo and fuel. The United Nations has doubled its call for aid to Lebanon as it bids to stem a severe and deteriorating humanitarian crisis brought on by 4 months of war with Israel. The UN's humanitarian agency, OCHA, said on Friday that it needs nearly 640 meters over the next 6 months. In March, as the hostilities broke out in response to the United States and Israeli attacks on Iran, the UN had said 308 meters would be needed.
Blackstone-backed data center operator AirTrunk said on Thursday it would invest $30 billion in India by 2030, adding to a wave of commitments from technology and infrastructure groups seeking to expand computing capacity in the country. The Australian company said it would develop 5 gigawatts of new data center capacity in India, one of the largest commitments to the South Asian nation's digital infrastructure sector. AirTrunk entered India earlier this year through the acquisition of Lumina Cloud Infra.
Punjab Safe Cities Authority, PSCA, has decided to introduce a signal-free corridor system for Rescue 1122 ambulances and other emergency vehicles to help reduce response times during emergencies. Under the plan, Rescue 1122 vehicle data will be linked with the Safe Cities network. Officials said traffic signals will automatically switch to green when an ambulance or emergency vehicle approaches an intersection, allowing it to move without delays.
The UAE's annual midday work ban will come into effect on June 15, restricting outdoor work under direct sunlight and in open-air areas during peak afternoon hours. According to the Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratization, the ban will remain in place until September 15 and will apply daily from 12:30 p.m. to 3 p.m.
FIFA has confirmed that a website error allowed around 60 fans to secure World Cup tickets for free before the tickets were later cancelled. The tickets were incorrectly allocated at no cost because of a previous payment issue during the checkout process. FIFA said the affected fans have now been given the option to repurchase the same tickets at full price.
The federal government has prepared a wide-ranging reform plan to overhaul the governance structure of Islamabad Capital Territory, proposing an elected local government, transfer of administrative powers, and a shift towards a unified smart city model. The plan is aimed at improving service delivery and long-term urban planning in the federal capital, which has expanded far beyond its original role as a planned administrative city.
Teachers at the Federal Urdu University have announced a boycott of classes and examinations. Following a similar protest by faculty members at the University of Karachi, the decision was taken in a joint meeting of the Teachers Association from the Abdul Haq and Gulshan-e-Iqbal campuses in Karachi, where faculty members declared that they would continue the boycott until their demands are met. Family of a Nepali climber who dragged himself off Mount Everest 6 days after being abandoned called for an investigation into rescue efforts. As doctors said on Friday, he is in a stable condition and recovering in hospital. Mountaineer Dawa Sherpa, 57, vanished in bitter conditions on the upper reaches of the world's highest mountain early on May 30.
Forbes released its Iconoclast 50 list on Wednesday, honouring leaders in tech, politics and the media, among other things. Donald Trump is on it, so are South Park's Trey Parker and Matt Stone. There are a number of tech CEOs: Elon Musk, Sundar Pichai, Jensen Huang and Sam Altman. Beyoncé, Bad Bunny, Taylor Swift and The Weeknd also have a place on the list, but there's a detail in the fine print below Swift's name that someone could easily miss at first glance. In the piece, Forbes confirms that the country singer is the wealthiest female musician of all time with a total net worth of $2 billion.
There is fury in France over the murder of an 11-year-old girl after it emerged the principal suspect was identified several times in the past as a potential child molester. Lahana disappeared after school a week ago in the Gers area of southwest France. A body, presumed to be hers, was found on farmland near the town of Florence on Thursday.
Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor sublet and generated an income from 3 cottages on his estate in Windsor, England. An independent report into the British royal family's property arrangements revealed Mountbatten-Windsor, known as Prince Andrew until his brother King Charles III, stripped him of his titles over his links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, lived at the Royal Lodge in Windsor for more than 20 years.
The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, said it has brokered a localized ceasefire fighting Russia's war on Ukraine around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to allow vital repairs. The United Nations Nuclear Agency reported that the ceasefire had taken effect on Friday morning. The safety and security of the Zaporizhzhia plant, the largest nuclear power plant in Europe, has been a chief concern amid Russia's war on Ukraine, which has now run for more than 4 years.
A record 48 teams will contest this summer's World Cup, with 12 groups making up the first stage of the tournament. 12 seeded teams are spread out across the groups, including the 3 host nations and 8 top-ranked countries. The 4 highest-ranked teams, Spain, Argentina, France and England, were placed in separate sections, or quadrants, of a new tennis-style seeded tournament bracket.
The United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, has warned that the ongoing conflict between the United States and Iran is putting millions of people at risk of hunger. In an analysis published on Friday, the WFP said the continuation of the conflict's effect on oil prices has profound implications for global food security.
Shakira and Burna Boy will perform in Mexico City for the first of 3 opening ceremonies at the World Cup. The music stars will perform Die Die, the official song for the tournament, ahead of the opening game between co-host Mexico and South Africa on Thursday. Hamas says it will not hand over its weapons right now, and resisting that the ultimate fate of its military arsenal will be decided following comprehensive discussions with other Palestinian factions. In an exclusive interview with Al Jazeera, Hussam Badran, a member of the Hamas political bureau, offered an inside look into the group's proposed solutions, a Tron-side concept to the stalled negotiations, introducing the concept of a long-term hudna, truce.
Santa Monica Studio has responded to a social media post from Domino's Pizza UK after the pizza chain mocked the newly announced God of War. Lawfee for not featuring Kratos as the main character, Domino's Pizza UK wrote that a God of War game without Kratos was like a pepperoni passion without pepperoni. Santa Monica Studio replied with a brief response saying, "OK, thanks for the feedback. Domino's Pizza corporate account."
Police have registered a case against 2 police officials and 2 other individuals after an under-trial prisoner escaped from Benazir Bhutto Hospital in Rawalpindi. According to the FRR, Sub-Inspector Zahid Iqbal said he and another official were carrying out a routine inspection of prisoners under treatment at the hospital and checking on police personnel assigned to guard them.
A petition has been filed in the Lahore High Court, LHC challenging heavy traffic fines and vehicle taxes imposed in Punjab, arguing that the measures are unconstitutional and adversely affect citizens. The petition was filed by Gumila Fatima through advocate Muhammad Azhar Siddiq. The petitioner contended that traffic police are imposing excessive fines on motorists across the province, which violate constitutional rights. Constitutional rights.
Pakistan has decided not to send its team to the Asian Senior Fencing Championships, which will be held in New Delhi from June 19, despite receiving an invitation from the local organisers, the Press Trust of India, PTI reported. India is hosting the championships for the first time. Fencers from more than 30 countries across Asia and Oceania are expected to compete in the continental event. The Punjab government has decided to add 2,000 electric buses to the province's public transport fleet during the next fiscal year, as part of a major push to modernise public transport, according to proposals prepared by the Transport Department. The overall size of transport-related projects for the upcoming fiscal year has been recommended at more than the plan includes a major increase in electric buses across different cities of the province.